This is Mongolian Mindset, and today we're going to be doing a breakdown of Khalifa, personality database, our sworn enemy. Has as an enfj. I think we need to break out the fucking drug test. Just break out the fucking drug test, bro. Just, I don't know, 59 people need to be drug tested. Yeah, so you guys know we use Linda Barrens metrics, temperament and interaction styles. If you want to learn the material, pick up these two books. It's all it's recommended. ENFJs are right there. They're in the idealist, right there. So they're going to be outcome. They're going to be initiating. They're going to be affiliative. They're going to be direct. They're going to be people interests. And they're going to be abstract. They're going to be FETI users and NISE users, okay? So let's get into it. Let's see what she really is. And guys, we're going to take the comments from this video and we're going to type the next person from these comments. Okay, we're going to start all the way over because we need more comments. So we're going to be doing that from every video, the comments. Comments will dictate who we type next. Also, if you guys want to be typed by us, we're still doing limited free typing sessions. All you have to do is join our Facebook group, the best self-development group in the world. We'll be the best and most accurate MBTI group as well. But all you have to do is join our group, message Cody. He's one of the moderators. Send him your availability and he'll get back to us and we'll set that up and get that done. We'll only be doing this for a limited more time as I want to put out different content. Okay, so let's get into it. Khalifa.
$15 million. And you know, I knew she was sort of a big deal. She's got a few followers on Instagram. How many followers?
A couple. 15 million.
15 million. That's with a capital M. And so you may be thinking, if you don't know who Mia is, well, God, how and why do you have 15 million followers? How are you so famous? You're such a big deal. And what would be the headline as to why you have 15 million followers, do you think?
I would say my past.
Yes, which is what we're here to talk about today. And so I knew key facts about your past and why you're famous. I didn't Google you. I didn't look into you. I don't really care. I don't really want to know, right? I want to get to know you as a human being and a person, which is what I've had the great privilege to get to do. And then within our work, recently, it came up, this interview that happened, right? In LA, was that? Or is it radio?
Oh, it was a radio interview in Florida.
Yeah, a radio interview.
Your home state.
Okay, don't hold it against me. Bath salts for appetizers.
That's actually what's in here right now, just in case.
And in here?
Yeah.
You know, don't diss it till you try it and eat somebody's face off. We digress. So, do you want to share what happened on this interview? Because I really think it's an important impetus for us here in this conversation.
So normally my manager will prep any interviewer or any show I'm going on by giving them key things not to talk about, like talking points that are not okay, intros that are not okay. And he dropped the ball on this one. And this was 3 days after I had surgery. So I was...
Okay, that's progression. That's hardcore progression right there. Okay. Let's keep going.
A little drugged up, actually a lot drugged up. And when I am like a
progression is like a wave, man. It's not like outcome is just like but progression is like a wave. It just flows.
Cocktail of all of these pills, I am a little more loose with what I say. So they introduced me first by talking about another adult film actress, saying, oh, this one time I was at a basketball game and I forgot what name they used, insert generic alliterated name here, was sitting in front of me. And, you know, she was yelling at the basketball players like, hey, I know you recognize me, et cetera, et cetera. And then the host goes on to say, And that was the first time I realized porn stars like sports. And to segue into this interview, we have Mia Khalifa, a porn star who is also into sports. That touched such a nerve with me because I have a more prolific sports career than this daytime radio.
Uh-oh. We got some FI coming out. We got some FI coming out right there. We got some FI. I got more of a prolific career. That's some TFI for you, baby. Let's go. Okay, so we got progression and we got TFI. She's coming out quite direct, too.
Like, I've hosted a show with a former NBA All-Star. I've had a second...
Uh-oh, look at these achievements. Former NBA World Star, so... that's gonna be TFI some more.
Sports show with a former ESPN and
look what I've done. Look at my credentials. Look what I've done. Okay.
Major League Baseball radio host.
See?
So when he introduced me as a porn star, I felt a mixture of emotions. One was a huge cloud of shame because
shame's gonna go on to FI. Guilt is FE.
Me being on their show and basically to their audience, allowing them to call me that sets a terrible tone for me, which is acceptance and pride in my past, which I neither of those things have come to me yet, the pride or the acceptance. I'm still working on the acceptance because it is what it is, but I'm definitely not proud of it. The bigger thing though was I immediately wanted to make them feel as small as they made me feel. So
I immediately wanted to make them feel as small as they made me feel. Let's see. What can we put that under? Wanted to make them feel. I'm gonna put that on the SINE, not SI, SENI. I wanted to. Okay, so it's more of an NI, SENI.
I could have handled it a lot better. I will say that.
Oh, you could have handled it a lot better. So I'm gonna put that on the pragmatic. Okay, you ain't doing the right thing.
And in the long run, it got them what they wanted. They wanted the views. They didn't get
talking about what other people want. That's NE.
You know, they hit the dump button fast enough. It didn't actually make it to the radio, but yeah, it was the shame that made me act that way.
Yes,
it was the shame. That's the FI again. So TFI is closed off on her. Okay, so right now we are eliminating any TIFE users. TIFE. Okay, so ENFJ is already gone. So go ahead and get rid of the drug test. That's already gone. ENFJ is gone. They're eliminated because there are TI users. Okay, she's a TFI. She's talking about achievement. She's talking. Look at my credentials. Look at the shame I felt. Okay, that's all FI and TE. So we're down to ESTJ, ENTJ, ESFP, ENFP, INTJ, ISTJ, INFP, and ISFP. Okay, because they're TE. These are TEFI users. Okay, so we're down to 8. 8 have already been eliminated.
And so then Mia comes back, right? We have a session and with her esteemed team. And we say, look, I think that this is a problem that we need to be able to talk about, not just for business, and then moving forward for you to be able to say, yeah, I did porn. Or for somebody else to say that without having this massive wave of shame, come over you, not just for your own health and peace and sanity, to be able to make peace with your past. But then also to be able
look
to...
Look at this woman. She's coming off responding. I'm going to put an asterisk to the side of it. But she's coming off responding. Look at her. She's just sitting there, waiting.
To move forward. And so I completely understand. In fact, I remember in our first session, you said to me, we were talking about goals. Goals are very 101 in coaching. This is where you're at. Where do you want to be? Let's start to move forward towards that. And so in that first conversation, remember we were talking about, okay, what do you want? What would excite you? What are your goals professionally, personally? And I remember that you said, my goal is to do an interview or to, have an article written where it doesn't say porn star, right? Where you have established and achieved, something where, Kim Kardashian and a sex tape, like nobody is saying, whatever they said, right, about her, where her reputation and what she's known for has transcended beyond that's her goal. And I thought, shit, that's a great goal to have. Good, let's move towards it.
Talking about goals.
But I think that the way, as I've learned more, that you have approached that is, don't talk about it, like, don't mention it, don't talk about it. Maybe people will forget, but it seems like people aren't forgetting.
No.
And so, hence then, this sit down where we said, I think that you need to be able to talk about it, to be able to, which I actually think is a huge part of our own healing with shame, a really powerful word you used. And one of the reasons I started to get excited about being able to sit down and talk to you, an interview, and, and film it so that other people could see is because as human beings, we all have shame. Every single one of us has some sort of shame.
I'm ready to go ahead and throw her down for responding. Okay, with her being responding, ESTJ is gone, ENTJ is gone, ESFP is gone, and ENFP are gone. The only thing that are left is ISTJ, INTJ, ISFP, and INFP. Okay, because she's responding. It is what it is.
And maybe you've done a better job at healing it or moving past it. But at some point you have shame, and you most likely still do now. And I think a lot of us as human beings are craving freedom ultimately, right? We have lots of goals that we think we want, but ultimately we want is this sense of freedom in our life. And I actually think that being able to deal with our shame is the biggest thing that will set you free. That when you have made peace, and looked at your demons, your skeletons in the closet to say, hey guy, I see you, right? You're there, but you don't scare me anymore. That then think about the power of that other people no longer have over you to affect you, right? It is something that you've done.
All right, okay, so that lady there is so informative. Jesus Christ, get out of here.
Not who you are, which is, another thing that I hope that people get to see in this is, get to know you and who you are, which I consider to be a fantastic human being.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what I would love to do, if you're up for it, is to actually hear a little bit more about your story and going back actually to, like, you have a pretty interesting beginning to your life and story. And I think it all kind of weaves together and plays a part to, you here and sitting on this, prestigious couch and on this prestigious show.
This is very buttery leather.
You made it. Congratulations. You made it. I don't think this is real, but, for animal rights.
As long as it's not black and has the word casting in front of it.
Yeah. Animals are our friends. So why don't you tell me about, like, what's your earliest memory? I was trying to think of this the other day for me.
My earliest memory?
Yeah.
That actually, I'm trying to think, because there's a few that stand out. I'm trying to think which one probably came first. They're all in Lebanon, and they all involve food.
Shocking. How old were you when you moved?
I was around 10 years old.
Okay. So do you remember, like, living?
Yeah, I remember school. I remember everything. I went to a French private school, a Catholic school called Senka, and I remember my friends there, and I remember my neighbor, who was like my best friend at the time, like my childhood friend. His name was Fadi, and we used to go ride bikes together, and I used to like hide his toys, and anytime he would bring...
We used to do this, we used to do that as SE. And see, when she recanted the story, she recanted it with other people, not from a first person perspective. Yeah, seems like she's an SE&I user.
Bring something over, I would like hide it under my bed, so then he'd like have to come back the next day and be like, hey, where's that toy? Oh, it's here. Like, should we just play? Basically,
Now
that you're here, maybe you should stay.
Yeah. What would be like the theme of your childhood? Like the kind of the word, the feeling, the theme, if you had to put one to it, up to 10.
Freedom. Freedom, because when I'm...
Freedom. All right, so we'll put that on the pragmatic Pragmatic people like freedom, right? So.
Moved to America, that was no longer the word.
See?
Ironically.
Yeah.
Huh? The land of freedom.
Yeah, that's true. I think it was also because it was such a big culture shock to move for my parents.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know the country, they didn't know the culture, they didn't
Talking
know.
about other people didn't know, that's TE. Okay. So, she's coming off direct. I'm almost ready to go ahead and submit that. She is direct. So it'll be down to an ISTJ and INTJ. We're going to let it play out a little bit more.
Anybody here, really. So they didn't trust most people. So I wasn't allowed to just go to a friend's house or, go play in the park like all of the other kids. Like, my parents were very scared and overprotective. So as soon as we got to America, up until the day I left for college, I just felt like there was a chokehold on me, a proverbial
I
chokehold.
felt the chokehold. Yeah, because I want freedom. Pragmatic. Okay, come on.
Where I couldn't do anything, I couldn't breathe, to the point where I felt the need to rebel and need to do something.
Rebel, pragmatic again.
Just so crazy to rectify all those years of not being able to do anything.
Do you remember?
Okay, this one is direct. Okay, so ISFP and INFP are gone. We're down to ISTJ and INTJ. So let's go to the handy dandy chart here. Let's look at that. So the chart, we're down to INTJ and ISTJ. So what we can tell from ISTJ, they're both systematic, they're both direct, they're both progression, they're both TEFI users. The difference is one is concrete, one is abstract. INTJs are abstract, ISTJs are concrete. INTJs are NISE users, ISTJs are SINE, and one is pragmatic and one is affiliative. So it's looking like this woman's an INTJ, because we're almost ready to close out pragmatic.
Like the actual moving process? Did you know what was happening?
No, of course. Like, I had to say bye to all my friends
Oh
and
my
family.
God.
I remember packing my little backpack to take on the flight with me of like all my toys and stuff.
What do you remember feeling during the trip?
Very excited.
Okay, that's what I would have
I've
guessed
always
for you,
loved-
because you're like an adventurous person.
I've always loved traveling and being on airplanes because I don't know, I like new experiences, and as a kid, an airplane was definitely like a new experience.
And so then you get here, and then tell me about life and adjusting to life. And where did you live?
DC.
Okay. Yeah.
We landed on January 1st, 2001. Barely spoke English. I was in ESOL. And I remember I came in halfway through the school year because we landed in January. And the next year, the start of the school year, we started in very late August, like around August 30th or something. I had, learned English. I still had a very heavy accent though.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, oh, this is my year. This is when I'm going to start making friends. I'm going to have American friends, et cetera, et cetera. And 2 weeks later, 9/11 happens.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, and this wasn't in like...
So that was a progression leading up to 9/11 there.
2 weeks
Wisconsin.
later.
Yeah. This wasn't like Wisconsin. DC was personally affected. Like, I went to school with kids whose parents worked in the Pentagon.
Yeah.
So I was immediately the terrorist. And that was my nickname all
People
through high
would
school.
call you to your face.
Kids are fucking mean.
I know.
Kids are
You
fucking mean. That's brag, cursing.
Know this. Come on.
I know, but I want...
You
what do
know
they
this. That's TE.
call you? You were tall as shit. What did they call you?
Cool tall girl? Something like that.
It must be nice to be pretty.
No. You want to see pictures?
I do, actually.
I will show you pictures.
Yeah, just like bring it up slowly.
Bring up her and me. Okay. All right. So yes, right after you get here, 9/11. But I mean, I want to know, like, I'm walking in with you to school and you're excited, like, oh, America.
But I was still the same like terror that I always was.
So do you remember feeling nervous or just excited? Like you're anticipating good things?
Excited because I'm always falsely confident about things. You know?
I'm always falsely confident about things. It's that FI child. It's that FI child.
Even if I shouldn't be, I'm falsely confident. And that just got torn down through elementary school, after the terrorist, everything. And then through middle school, I got boobs like that immediately.
Really?
In like the 6th grade. And then the rest of me started to fill out. More than I would have intended.
You're like, wait a minute, I thought it was supposed to go like this.
Yeah, exactly. Instead it's going like this. I look like the blueberry from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Oh, good.
And then I get to high school, and I'm not really,
Compare, there's people in the last one saying that Melissa was an ENTJ. Look how direct me and Khalifa is, and go look how informative Melissa was. Okay? Catch up on these skills, guys.
I'm kind of in that weird middle class where I know the popular kids, and
Talking about popularity, that's going to be TFI again.
Cool with like 1 or 2 of them, but we like don't hang out outside of school. I'm not really a loser. I just have no place in high school. I don't know my place. I had one friend all through high school. And
was it a boy or a girl?
It was a girl. Her name was Becky. And her and I were completely inseparable. And then after my freshman year, I went to military boarding school.
Why?
Because better education. Public schools are terrible. Military boarding school is where I started to thrive because, and this is weird, I, felt very constricted at home, but military boarding school, I felt free. I felt like I was...
Talking about freedom again. Pragmatic. That's in the realm of pragmatic.
A part of something bigger than myself, and it was so nice.
Yeah, I bet. After how many years before that?
Yeah, I didn't know my place in America and in school, even in my family, because I was the only one who was, Lebanese born and raised. Everybody spoke Arabic, but I was also becoming Americanized.
So you could feel, and maybe even before that, because you're this wild child, but so you felt this sense of kind of like, oh, I'm not the same as you. I don't fit in here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No.
And do you remember struggling with that, or just being aware of it, or maybe liking that you
just being aware of it?
Okay, being aware of it.
Yeah, and kind of using it to fuel my rebellion a little bit.
Using it to fuel my rebellion a little bit. That's pragmatic again. Why? Because pragmatic people are rebellious. They tend to be independent, contrarians. They tend to like freedom because they don't like you to give them a job. They kind of like to just do what they want, because that allows them to be effective. Okay, as in affiliative people, they like roles to be assigned. They're like independent, interdependent, inclusion, that type of thing. So this woman is an INTJ. Shocker. Let's keep going for a little bit more fun.
And so then you graduate from high school, and what happened?
I go to college, and in college, so in military school, we took extra classes. Like, I lived there in the summer too, and all of those extra classes were college credits. So I was able to graduate college in 3 years because I had 3 years of high school, college credits earned. So I went to UTEP, graduated, got out of there as fast as possible because there was nothing in El Paso. And because I was on a fast track to graduating, I was very focused on school. I also didn't have very many friends in college. I didn't party very much.
Allah, we know you're introverted, girl. We know you're introverted. For the people who voted ENFJ, whip out a drug test, please.
I, didn't go to the house parties and, do the normal college things because it's also El Paso. Like, it's not a party school. Everyone there is from El Paso.
What made you choose there?
I applied to UT Austin, and they recommended me to UT El Paso because they accepted all of the credits I had earned.
Oh.
And I didn't want to do the full 4 years. So, like, fuck it, it's only 3 years.
Yeah, it was like a means to
it, it's only 4 years. Come on, this one's pragmatic.
Yeah, exactly.
Get out. Yeah. What you need.
Like,
what did you study?
History.
Why?
Because history was fun for me. And I knew that if I was going to be like this laser focused, I wanted something that would captivate me. for the entire time. And it did.
If I'm gonna be laser focused, come on, that's NI.
But I also graduated and I was like, well, fuck, I don't want to teach. What am I going to do?
So when you were choosing
I don't want to teach. What am I gonna do?
a major, right, what you're going to focus on, you weren't thinking like,
I didn't know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be, what I had no 5 or 10 year plan. I just wanted to get a degree and get it over with as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. And get a degree, get it done as fast as possible. Progression, pragmatic.
It was interesting and fun.
Yeah.
So after college, I moved to Miami. All through college, so I started to lose weight my senior year of high school, and the weight loss continued all through college until I got to be I was way skinnier than this actually. I got down to like 98 pounds. And because I was eating extremely unhealthy. I was like, it was bad. I was not eating basically. I gained a little bit of weight back, but the first thing to go was my boobs. And my boobs were probably, I still have my like bra from high school just because I like to hold it up sometimes and go, holy shit. I was a 36E.
So she's keeping the bra as a total. That'd be SE. She's keeping the bra as a total to remember. It's SE.
And now I'm a 32E in high school. But I was also huge.
Huge is a relative term.
36 versus 32.
I know, well that's what I'm thinking of, like, I'm a 36. I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so the first thing to go was my boobs. And it wasn't just like, oh, now I have tiny perky boobs. Like, I looked like I had 4 kids and I was, 20 years old? It was so detrimental to my self-esteem.
Yeah.
I hated being in a bikini. Like, I couldn't wear certain things. I couldn't even wear a bra without, like, the excess skin showing. So through college, I saved up for breast augmentation. And part of the reason I chose Miami was actually because I knew I didn't want to live in California, but the best doctors for that are in Beverly Hills. But the second best place is Coral Gables in Miami. I couldn't afford to fly to Beverly
Best things. That'd be systematic.
Beverly Hills, stay there for a week to recover, all that stuff. So what I wanted to do was do it in a place where I lived. And after I got to Miami, about 4 to 6 months into living there, is when I made the appointment. The entire time I was, doing consultation,
progression,
weighing out which doctor I wanted to go to, all that
out what doctor I want to
stuff. And finally I chose the doctor, got it done, and I woke up from the surgery and I was like, wow, I'm pretty.
Really?
Yes.
Is that the first time you can remember feeling pretty?
Yes, but it was a very unhealthy kind of pretty. Like a pretty where I needed to be told I was pretty. Like I needed that attention. I never got it in high school, and I didn't really get it in college because I dressed extremely frumpy because I was self-conscious about the way I looked from...
This is the sad thing with INTJs, man. FI child, man, if they don't get it one way, they'll get it in an unhealthy way. And you'll see it time and time again, and it will blow up their life.
I was losing a lot of weight, but I couldn't wear tank tops. I couldn't, everything I wore was like a t-shirt because my boobs just looked so bad in everything.
Yeah.
So I just craved male attention.
Yeah.
Healthy or unhealthy. Like it didn't matter.
Healthy or unhealthy, doesn't matter. Pragmatic.
I needed male attention.
I think every woman craves to feel attractive.
Yes.
But I think that a lot of feminists reject that, right? Because we're so often like, the story is like that's the patriarchy controlling us, that our value is our beauty, or our sexuality or our aesthetics, so it becomes this kind of convoluted, like, I want to be pretty, but is that bad? Do I want to be pretty? And I think we all as human beings, want to feel significant, special, wanted. There's something about us.
Dude, look how responding she is. Jesus.
Right? That is desirable. That is part of human nature.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, I mean, we all will find a way to do it, whether it's being a rebel, right, can be part of it, whether it's our sexuality, or bodies, whether it's our quick wit or intellect, maybe a lot, right, if we're multifaceted and talented. But we all have to have something that's like, why am I wanted? And the more I can find something that people really want, the more we're going to do and pursue it, right? Okay, good. So now back to Miami, the boobs, the emergence.
Yes.
You feel this, I'm attractive. Walk me through it. Were there lots of bikinis at this point?
Well, it was Miami, of course.
Okay, it's like
I could not
you
wait
wake up and
to
you're
be
in a
like
bikini.
fully healed and able to wear them.
Yeah.
I like 3 weeks to 4 weeks after my surgery, I was walking down the street in Miami. It was just like a shop. I was actually walking across from a Pier 1 Imports to like a restaurant across the shopping center. And a car literally stops dead on its tracks and rolls the window down. And they're like, "You are so gorgeous. Would you like to model for me? Like, can I give you my card?" And, I'm like, "Me? Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
Me?"
Yeah.
So I take their card and I go home and I look at it and I Google what it is, and it's a porn company. So in my head, I was like, "Oh, what the fuck? But wait, maybe. Like, he told me I was pretty. Maybe I'll just go in and like talk to them and see what it's about." So
Oh, FJ. Oh. Pragmatic and FJ, boy. Woo.
So, like 2 weeks later, I gave him a call and I was like, "Yeah, I'd like to come in and like take a tour of the offices and just ask some questions." So it was a beautiful office too. So I go in and he gives me the tour, and they're all just so nice and so friendly. Everyone there is so sweet. There's a lot of women working there. He just worked in like, video editing and talent management. All of like the...
See, when she with Cancer Store, she's talking about what other people are doing. She's not doing it from a first person perspective. She's SENI.
production and film.
She's direct, responding, SENI, pragmatic, TFI, progression, intj.
Crew. They were all women. So that immediately made me feel very comfortable. And that was just like, from that point, it was a whirlwind after I said yes.
But did you in that meeting say yes, or was it something you like thought about?
Oh, I thought about it for 2 weeks before I even called him to take a meeting. But like once I was in there and everyone was telling me how pretty I was, and I saw how nice everyone was, I was like,
yeah, it didn't feel like skeezy. It felt like this business is your normal people. Oh, this must be like a...
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not the, motel porn that people think in their head. This is a multi-million-dollar corporation.
Are you like, do you have somebody close to you that you're saying like, is this crazy? I'm thinking about this. Are you telling anybody this?
Nobody. Because in my head, I went into it like, oh, I'm sure like people do this all the time. This will just be my dirty little secret. Like, who the fuck am I? Who am I? Like, I have 400 friends on Facebook and like 200 followers on Instagram. Like, no one's gonna ever know.
Was Instagram? Oh yeah.
Instagram was already pretty big. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So you're thinking like dirty little secret.
Yes.
You have this like rebellious side.
Yes, like an alter ego that could be, fun and a chance to let loose, and no one's ever gonna find out about it.
Oh, she's talking about the ESFP subconscious. The fun part of me wanting to let loose. ESFP subconscious.
Any other thoughts that went into this like equation?
Yes, definitely the safety aspect of it.
Okay.
And I will say they're very vigilant about testing.
Okay.
You're not allowed to shoot unless you've been tested.
Good.
Both parties. So that made me feel better. And that was like my main concern, people finding out, and the safety aspect.
Okay.
And once those were like, I poured...
My reputation won't be intact. No, nothing will happen to my reputation. This will be my dirty little secret. Okay.
really reasoned them off in my head.
Yeah.
Not the safety aspect, that one you're covered.
Right.
But, the people finding out thing.
Yeah, turns
It
out.
was very naive of me.
But what would you say prior to that was your kind of relationship to sex? Was it this big deal? Was it this dirty thing? Was it this?
No, it was just like, to me, it was always a very natural thing. And a very primal thing.
Yeah.
And I felt like, well, I mean, everybody has sex.
Yeah.
Like, who doesn't have sex? We're all here because of sex.
Yeah.
You don't need to love someone to have sex with them. Like like people.
More pragmatic. You woman, you. All right, we're done here, man. Me and Khalifa is the intj. These people need to be drug tested. She is not enfj. She was hardcore responding. She was hardcore TFI. So that is thoroughly eliminated. But let's look at the chart so you guys can get it all down. So what we noticed on early with me and Khalifa, and it was pretty fast, was that she was the TFI. Okay, she was talking about achievements. What she was talking about, oh, I had these people on my show. I had these people on my show. I had these basketball players. She's also talking about her FI a lot. And then what we noticed was that she's responding. She's introverted. It's clear as day to see that this woman's introverted. She would just sit there and just wait and just wait and just wait. So with her being a TFI and responding, that eliminates down to 4 types. ISTJ, INTJ, ISFP, and INFP. Okay. And then we noticed that she was pragmatic. So she's rebellious. She's a contrarian. She's more independent thinking. She likes freedom. Okay. So with her being pragmatic, that leaves us down to INTJ and ISFP. And she's direct. So she has direct speech, direct language. She says what she means what she says. She's specific, concise, and to the point. It's kind of easy to follow her. So that makes her an INTJ. But also we got SENI points. Okay. We got SENI. And yeah, so with that as well, with her being direct, responding, progression. ISFPs are outcome focused. She was progression, and ISFPs are informative. So that would be eliminated as well. So yeah, me and Khalifa is an INTJ. Surprise, surprise. This is Mongolian Mindset, and we're out.